Hey to all my broke American actors out there in YouTube land, it is I, your broke American actor Christian Steele here with another episode for you to tune into and perhaps get tuned on to. Today I'm going to talk about headshots. Hopefully I can be as brief as possible. I am going to wing this a little bit, however I have a lot of experience with headshots, so I do believe I am speaking from experience. The one main point that I want to get out, and I'm going to begin with it, and because I'm probably going to repeat it 100 times, is you need to take a headshot of the you that you want to sell. Now think of that for a little bit, okay? Maybe even write that down somewhere, ponder it. This episode is going to be a little convoluted, a little opinionated, but I am hoping that when you finish watching it, maybe you've heard about how to shoot a headshot differently from what you've heard from all of your other instructors. As I said, try to capture the you that you want to sell. Now, a lot of teachers are going to tell you, make sure that the headshot looks like you. Make sure that the headshot looks like you. When I started taking headshots and I was given that piece of instruction, make sure that the headshot looks like you, I started to face this constant obstacle. I would take a headshot, I would make the appointment, I wouldn't really put too much thought into how it is I'm supposed to look in my headshot, and then when the headshot's done, I'm not entirely satisfied, not because the photographer couldn't take a picture of me, but just because I'm not too happy with the picture of me. And then I think about how every time this picture goes out to a casting director and then they like the picture and they want to bring that actor in, then I got to show up looking like that picture. Make sure the picture looks like you. So I started to consider the possibility that the way I see me isn't the way other people see me. That meant that even though a person was looking at the headshot and then they saw something, they're not even seeing what I think they're seeing, because I'm seeing a version of me that I'm not necessarily, committed to, and they're seeing a version of me that they don't even know whether or not I am committed to that look or not, or even care. It's simply a matter of they hope that when I show up, I do look like the person that was in the picture. The person that is in the picture, that's what's kind of going to dictate what kind of roles you can submit for. So if you're a college-looking kid with, a nice smile in a picture, you're more than likely not going to be submitted for, like, the gritty fireman story, right? Or, like, emaciated drug dealer. If you don't have that picture, the casting directors don't see that, and then they just don't, they don't call you in. So then I started hearing some rhetoric from agents that not only should an actor have a picture that looks like them, but they should have a picture of them in many different types of looks, so that the casting director doesn't have to use their imagination. For example, if the casting director is casting a part for a beat cop, you have a headshot of you as a beat cop. Additionally, doctor, you have a headshot of you as a doctor. And there are tons of actors here in LA who have done this and have headshots of them in tons of different looks for tons of different breakdowns. And it costs money. You better believe every single time these pictures get taken, it costs money. And the average photographer to get some headshots these days is about $300 a session. Alright? If you're going to spend $900 a session, by God, I hope those pictures get you a lot of work. And if you're going to spend $50 a session and get a bunch of work, don't tell anybody. Just tell them you spent $300 on the picture. We're trying to stay focused on how do you take the perfect headshot. Try to capture the you that you want to sell. And also, you need to keep in mind that you take a picture today in September 17th, 2016, and you get it reproduced, you upload it online, you start using it for a few months. Before you know it, a year has passed, you've let your hair grow, you got facial hair, you put on a little bit of weight in the gym, you're a little stronger or you're a little lighter. These are all physical changes that will make your headshot look old or different. And one should consider that when thinking about, let me wear the skin-tight t-shirt and show off all my muscles, and then, suddenly realize that you're bigger and, like, you don't even fit in that shirt, or you're smaller and you don't even look that fit anymore. What really made that picture was that you had, like, a really thin, kind of, like, close clipped haircut, and so everything else looked big. Now your hair's longer, and so your muscles don't stand out as much. I mean, there are all these little qualities and details into a headshot that have to be considered that photographers are looking at when they're shooting the picture, but they can't tell you what changed per se because you only have so many resources with you at the photo session. Casting directors are paying attention to all those little details, but they're not going to waste their time giving a bunch of feedback to the tens of thousands of headshots that they get into their office on any given day. And again, I mean, if a casting director is auditioning for a doctor and they get 100 headshots and 5 of them have actors that look freaking like doctors, it's not brain surgery for these casting directors to say, yeah, let's bring that guy in. All they're doing is setting aside some time for them to read a few lines anyway, so it's going to take them a couple minutes to see if they can act at all, but their picture does make them look like a doctor. Boom. Now, this was this constant thing. So my look changes every year because my body matures. I wasn't really happy with my look in the first place because I just felt like I was trying to create looks that casting directors wanted. And then it just occurs to me one day, you know what? After learning everything that you learned about the industry and realizing the casting directors are looking for that person to be the right person, stop trying to provide yourself with a huge library of looks. Alright? Just try to figure out who you are. And try to figure out how you want to look and how you want casting directors to see you. Because the reality was I would look at my headshots and I wasn't happy with the actor that I'm looking at. And so what did I do? I started to think about how you need to take a picture of the you that you want to sell. And that meant if you want to sell a commercial look with a lot of cheese and a lot of teeth and a lot of commercial appeal, then you need to develop a look that you're comfortable in that executes that message. Okay? And me, no. I did that look. Alright? Tried it. Really didn't do much. And the other thing about an acting career, especially when you're going to have a strategy, okay, is that you are going to have to try to figure out different ways to change your strategy. And the headshot is a very significant way to change and manipulate your strategy. I realized that I wasn't even happy with the way I looked. So I started to pay a lot of attention to fashion magazines. I started to pay a lot of attention to successful actors in the A-list and how they're wearing their hair, not just in films, but on the streets and in their own personal venues. And it occurred to me that actors are going to shift their hair up for the role that they're in, right? But, and I take this all the way back to an instructor that I had in college. His name was Dr. Sheldon. He's one of my favorite acting coaches. And he told me in college, and I just didn't listen to him. This is almost 15, 16, 17 years ago. When I basically shaved my head one day and came to acting class, and he was really unsatisfied with it and told me that actors have to have hair. You have to have hair. If you don't have hair as an actor, it's hard to show different layers of character because there's an entire culture of shaggy people out there that identify with the shaggy look, and then if you at least if you have hair, you can manipulate it and do all kinds of different things with it. And so I decided to grow out my hair, and then I took new headshots and didn't like what I saw. And it literally took me almost 2 years of hair manipulation to figure out what hairstyle I'm comfortable having, essentially, for the rest of my life, because I need to take a picture in it that I need to be able to use for a long time, without having to change it up every year because my look changes every year. Now I understand that my look will continue to change and my headshot will continue to be updated. But the next time I go take a headshot, it'll more than likely be in the same hair unless I'm taking a headshot for a promotion product for a film that I'm on. Or a commercial asks me to feature a certain look, and they take some type of promo shots of it. Might get a new updated headshot out of that. But when it comes to me going to a photographer and using my own personal money to have a photographer take a picture of me so that I can make sure that casting directors are seeing me, okay, the way I want to be seen, so I can book roles that are going to feature my abilities in the best possible way, that begins with the headshot. And before you can take the headshot, I know it sounds really frustrating to hear this because you hear it all the time in an acting career. That requires you to really get to know yourself and decide what it is that you want to sell to casting directors based upon what it is you think you can book as an actor based upon not your skill, but your look. And so, take the time to look in magazines, take the time to just study headshots on the internet, and don't worry about your peers. They don't really know how to take a perfect headshot either, okay? And don't really worry about your instructors. Nobody really knows how to take a perfect headshot, not even me. That's why it's a little convoluted and opinionated today, okay? And headshot styles, trends, they change based on the photographer that the agencies are all using. And so you're gonna, that's another thing about taking the perfect headshot before we end up this video. Every time you get with a new agent, more than likely they're gonna want you to take a new headshot just for their own database. And they're gonna want you to go through a photographer that they recommend because that's who they trust and that's who basically takes all their clients' headshots so that all their clients can look the way that the agency wants their clients to look, right? And that's perfectly fine. It's a company, developing its brand. And maybe you can be prepared to pay for that. The point is that, again, your first headshot will not be your last headshot. Your next headshot will not be your last headshot. Again, if you're going to drop $300 to $900, just take the time to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, with some clothes on that you think you would wear to an audition, is this the guy that you want to dress up as every time you go to an audition? Because that's what's going to be expected by the casting directors based upon whatever it is you present in the headshot. Imagine if you took a headshot with 50 pieces of clown costume and you're just a clown, and then all you're ever submitting for is clown, and then you go and you get an audition and you got to put the whole get up on to go to the audition. And not to say that people that have chosen to commit to a career of being a clown don't mind doing that. I'm sure they don't mind doing that. But that's not the career that I committed to. And as an actor, you don't have to create that specific of a look for yourself. Okay? You're an actor. You have the capability of being many different people and providing many different dimensions and layers. But before you can break into the business as a dynamic, multifaceted actor, you're going to have to learn how to break into the business as a stock character, an image. Asking yourself who you are, what's your personality, what's your behavior like, how are you going to exchange with the casting directors, okay? All those things you should ask yourself into a mirror. You should mess with your hair. If you need makeup, you should mess with makeup, and you should mess with clothing, and then you just look at the finished product every single time and you say, now, is this what I want casting directors to see? Are these the types of roles I want to book? And is this what I want to do for myself every time I get ready for an audition? Okay, and before I finish up, maybe a couple of specific details. All right, no crazy patterns. Try to keep a solid type of thing going on. If you're gonna have a featured logo in there, try not to use any major brands because it can detract away from whatever brand you're going to be auditioning for. All right, keep it simple and keep it one color. And for guys, I think a V-neck is better than a crew neck because the V-neck shapes your chest a little more. Girls, you're going to want to, it's a fine line, how much makeup is too much makeup, okay? So, again, you can kind of go back to my other rule of thumb is how much makeup do you want to put on every time you go to an audition. Being sexy, pretty, doesn't necessarily allow you to submit for Girl Next Door or Preacher's Daughter, things like that, So, if you're gonna decide that your headshot you should be sultry and sexy, just remember that those are the types of roles that you should be submitting for. Those are the types of roles that you think you can book as that look, and that's the look that you want to essentially commit yourself to when you show up to your audition. Again, just like the guys, I say keep it very simple. I say subdued makeup. I say go with your natural makeup palette and let your natural beauty get you into the door, because then once you walk through the door with the same natural beauty that you featured in the headshot, your own credit, and hopefully with a lot of training, it is going to be your skill that then sets you apart from the other people who did walk in and fulfilling the expectation, looking what they look like in the picture. And again, there's going to be people at your audition that don't look a damn thing like their picture. Look like your picture is an important rule, definitely, okay? But think about what you want your picture to look like. Think about how you want the casting directors to see you. It's not enough to just say, make sure you look like your picture. It really isn't. It really isn't. Think about the you that you want to sell. Think about the roles that you want to book. That will help you decide how you should take your headshot. That will help you feel like when you finished taking your headshot, it's the perfect headshot. Because I promise you, there is no perfect headshot. There's just taking a headshot. And then putting all the pieces together so that the finished product is a presentable picture for casting directors to, with great confidence, say, this is the type of actor that I should have come into the office today. Like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel Virtual Media Network. This is Christian Steele, your broke American actor. I'm out.